Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the LG G Pad 8.3. This 8.3-inch Android tablet is priced at $349.99, and because it's been on the market for a while now, you can currently pick it up at a $50 discount, so $299.99 will land you what is, in my opinion, one of the better offerings if you're in the market for a sub-10-inch Android tablet. So it's been around for a little while, but that doesn't mean its hardware has become too dated. And with that said, let's take a look at the actual specifications. So for $300, you're getting a Qualcomm Snapdragon S600 under the hood. That is a quad-core processor clocked at 1.7 gigahertz, as you see noted right there, 2 gigs of DDR2 RAM, and 16 gigs of internal storage. In terms of screen size, as I mentioned before, as part of the name of the tablet itself, it does have an 8.3-inch display, pitting it directly against tablets like the iPad mini Retina, as well as the Samsung Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4. In terms of pixel density, it doesn't live up to either of those models, though, but still 1920 by 1200, very solid when it comes to pixel density in a sub-10-inch tablet. In terms of cameras, it does have both a front and rear-facing camera. You can see right there, 5 megapixels on the back in terms of rating, and 1.3 megapixels on the front-facing camera. In terms of multimedia playback, LG touting DivX HD as well as Dolby Digital Plus. The battery, a 4600 milliamp battery built into this. In terms of Wi-Fi functionality, this does have dual band capability, and it does also have an infrared remote function, much like Samsung's line. In fact, you'll see a lot of the features here LG has basically put together in this G Pad 8.3 really do resemble or embody a lot of what Samsung has done. And I'm not saying they're copying them, but maybe Samsung has set the standard and LG acknowledges that. Keep in mind that LG is really brand new to the tablet market in terms of that they haven't been around for the last couple of years, much like HTC. And this is, the first offering or entrance into the game, and in my opinion, a really solid one, a well-executed one, even though I haven't gotten it out of the box. In terms of what they put together and the price point, it just seems to be a smart product to offer. In terms of other features, of course, Bluetooth 4.0, as well as a promise, as I mentioned, an upgrade to KitKat 4.4 of the Android operating system. Let's get it out of the box and take a look at the tablet, finally. And I am a big fan of this form factor, and I'll tell you immediately, I can feel the cold metallic build on the back, which is a refreshing thing because, as many of you know, tablets these days really rarely have any metallic build anymore. It's not a reason to buy a tablet, in my opinion, but certainly nice if the tablet you pick up and actually want, based on specifications and fitting your needs, actually does have some solid build quality. So definitely feels well made, in my opinion, and good to see that LG's first offering in a long, long time at least seems solid out of the box. Let's start on the right-hand side. You can see we've got a power button, then a volume rocker. That's pretty much it there. Come around to the bottom, we have our charging port right there, which is a micro USB port, something that we'll find on many tablets these days. A pinhole there, which I can safely assume is a microphone, but it could also be a reset pinhole. Nothing on the left-hand side. And then up at the top, we have our 3.5mm headphone jack, micro SD card slot for storage expansion, and our infrared blaster, I believe, for the remote control function that I mentioned earlier. Let me go ahead and get rid of this plastic, and I'll see if this actually has any power before I get to the contents of the box. Again, the screen is a nice display, no question about it, but it's not in the same class as the Samsung Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4, which sports a 2560 by 1600 resolution at almost exactly the same screen size. So if you're comparing this to something like the Nexus 7, which makes sense, and that's something that I will be doing in the future, It really is just a matter of having some more features really that you'd find in a Samsung competing product over Apple's offering or the Nexus 7, and that's storage expansion, the infrared remote, and arguably better build quality. I think many people will think simply because of the metallic build. You can see our stereo speakers are right here, basically just flanking the side, and that should be optimal for when this device is in landscape and actually being used to consume media content. High gloss finish on the screen, you may have noticed that already. And let's just see if I can go home and bypass. Nope, they will force me to actually go through the menus here. And they do have they being LG, their own overlay, much like Samsung, no exception. This is something that everybody does at this point, unless you go with a Nexus device. And you can see they're even doing a setup for the touch button combination and theme. So really trying to, I think, build upon the stuff that Samsung has got right. And that's what any good manufacturer who's going to come into a business fresh in the way LG has here with tablets should get right. Not bothering with the Q pair because we do not have a phone to pair it with. And here we have the home screen finally. And the S600 is really solid, essentially the same chip you would find in the Nexus 7, but again, a larger screen, a broader array of different features that you're working with here, storage expansion, what should be better cameras. No flash, by the way, on this 5-megapixel rear camera, in case you were curious about it. But again, a nice tablet. Let me go ahead and put that aside. And let's see the balance. We've got our paperwork, which is essentially just a quick start guide. And that's flanked by what we would expect, our micro USB cable for charging and file transfer, and our wall adapter. These things all look the same, and that's because they all do the same thing. It'll be interesting to see what battery life is like on this, as well as charge time. That's something these days when I look at new tablets, and we expect things like USB 3.0, things of that nature. You want to see quick recharge times. There's no question the display on this device is one of its strong suits. I think this is a tablet that is sadly overlooked just because people don't recognize LG as a manufacturer. As I mentioned through the course of this unboxing, it's really a brand new game for them, even though they've been making phones this entire time, clearly. So an interesting offer, and as it becomes even more affordable, I think a very strong offering. And that's without even using it, because I know the processor, I know what's under the hood, and I know that LG made certain to make a quality device here that was an appropriate compromise. And in terms of their software and ecosystem, their overlay, that's something that you're going to learn to either love or hate, and it's going to grow and mature in the same way Samsung's TouchWiz has, and for better or worse, and now has become the Magazine UX overlay. So I expect that sort of evolution here too, and I think they'll have borrowed a lot of things. Some things will be better, some things worse, but the point is LG is a solid manufacturer, one of the largest display makers in the world. I don't even have the brightness cranked up all the way here. Let's do that and really give you a good look. So definitely a nice screen, solid build quality, good internal specifications. When it comes to wireless also, I think I just only turned it on and off there. I have to actually jump directly into settings. That was not correct. That is where I wanted to go. You can see pretty good range in terms of wireless networks, and because you do have dual band here, you do have the benefit of getting some extra juice when it comes to using both ranges in terms of 2.4 as well as 5 gigahertz bands. But like what I see here, and like I said, it's only getting less expensive. So there you have it, the unboxing of the LG G Pad 8.3, a very interesting higher end sub 10-inch tablet that I look forward to continuing to update all of you on. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them, and of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.